This is the plaintiff, Monica. She says she and the defendant lived together, and things didn't last long because the woman's a hothead. She yelled at her constantly. She wouldn't let her tomatoes ripen on the counter. Now the woman won't return her security because she said she had to clean the room. Ha! She's suing for triple damages in the amount of $5,000. This is the defendant, Mercedes Fernandez. She says the plaintiff never cleaned up after herself. She didn't put her food away, and she left dirty pots in her beautiful kitchen. The woman called the cops on her. She had to kick her out, and she's keeping her security to cover her unpaid rent and cleaning. She's accused of being too difficult.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. These litigants lived together, and the plaintiff says the defendant was so unreasonable she wouldn't let her tomatoes ripen on the counter. The defendant says the plaintiff was a slob. It's the case of hot tomato.
Monica, you've asked us not to mention your last name. You're suing your former landlord, Mercedes Fernandez, for $5,000. Triple the rent you paid, security deposit you paid, and punitive damages to get you up to that statutory maximum. What's going on?
Well, I wound up answering an ad to be able to look at the house, and we had a discussion about it. The rent was $580 a month, and I was specific about the places that I would be able to use and
in the house
to utilize various places in the house, garage, whatever, to store my stuff. Because I have another business that I have a lot of tools and stuff for jewelry
What kind
business.
of business?
A jewelry business.
Okay.
And I paid the full.
How long did you live there?
Almost June, July, August, and some of September.
Okay. And
Okay.
at the beginning, did you guys get along?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
did you have a lease, or was this a month-to-month?
Yes, we did have a lease.
May I see the lease?
Yes, you may.
Okay, no. This is a receipt for $780. I'm asking you if you have a lease that entitles you to live there a year or 6 months or a specific term.
That's what we had that's what we had agreed to, is the year, and a year's lease at $580.
Where does it say a year?
It should be in there. I wrote, it was a year or two we had discussed.
Okay. This doesn't qualify as a lease. What you had was a month-to-month. A lease is a specific beginning, middle, and end. It can't be, for 1 or 2. That's not a lease. In any event, when you live there for about 4 months, and then what happens?
Okay. I had paid the September's rent on the 15th. We were from the 15th on. And on the 22nd, she, out of the blue, just was sweeping the floor and told me that she yelled at me to come out of my room and told me that things aren't working out, and
But there had to have been some problem between you guys before that you sensed. I mean, there had to be something going wrong.
Yeah, there was. They had a puppy, and there was all sorts of problems with the poor puppy, and then the dog started before I even moved in, Mercedes gave me a ride to a few places, and that's where her daughter sent her a picture of the dog having vomited a sock. And later on, that was supposedly blamed on me, that the dog was eating my stuff, which wasn't accurate. And it just wound up being very, very difficult.
Okay, you have a different version of what the problems were between you two. What is it?
Her paint supply, she would keep it all in the night, and she wouldn't even put it away. She would just leave stuff outside, and she just wasn't clean, like the kitchen stuff. Like, she wouldn't even clean her dishes.
All right, so you told her then at some point you tire of it and you tell her you got to go.
Right. When I got tired of it is when she went into my daughter's room and just grabbed her charger, like taking my daughter's stuff.
How do you know she went into your daughter's room?
Because she left her a note, and my daughter told me, she left me a note, she took me my charger, like from my laptop. And I'm like, that's not right. That's when I got mad, and I went home and I told her, you need to leave. Because you cannot be going into my daughter's room and taking her stuff.
Did you go into her daughter's room?
No, I didn't. I even explained it to her, but she didn't want to listen.
All right, so there's a $400 deposit that she wants back. That's what started this whole thing.
Correct.
Okay. And why are you keeping her deposit?
There was substantially a lot of stuff in there. I mean, I even have a video of how bad that room was
Show
while
me
she
the
was
video
living.
of how bad, let's see the video of how bad that room was.
And this was in July.
In July, just a second, she left when?
In September, but this is while she was living there. So
Why are you videoing her room? You're talking about her going into your daughter's room and you're going into her room to video it?
Right, because the door was open and then I saw
Oh,
it.
I guess you can just walk right in. It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
she's paying rent.
Nope.
That seems like kind of an invasion of privacy.
That was during the move, Your Honor.
That was in July. But yeah,
It's an invasion of privacy. I don't care when it is.
right.
Why are you keeping the $400?
For the cleaning of
Okay,
the
so
room
do you
and the
have any
mattress.
evidence of how she left it that would justify you keeping $400 of a
Yes.
security deposit?
I do. There's some pictures there of
Okay, what's that a picture of?
the molding. Like it was not
Dust?
cleaned. Yes,
What's that a picture of?
it's just more cleaning that she didn't do. Like I still had to go and thoroughly
Okay,
clean
that is
the
a picture of molding that needs caulking. Okay, what's that a picture of?
more cleaning that she didn't do. There's like dust and stuff in the.
That's not 4 months of grime. That's, years of grime. There's a mattress. What did you want me to see about the mattress?
The mattress that she messed up that was practically brand new.
Do you have a receipt for the mattress?
No,
How are you going to prove that it's practically brand new?
because it was only a year old, but I can't. And it's not brand new.
Did you ever send a letter to her as required by Florida law? You're from the state of Florida, and every state has different landlord-tenant laws that require, one thing or another. In your state, you have to write a letter within 30 days claiming a right to the security deposit and itemizing why. Did you ever write that letter?
I did not.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
What do you do if you can't get along with your roommate?
You set some ground rules to avoid confrontation.
That should be done at the beginning, but what do you do when you don't get along in the middle?
Well, it depends whose property it belongs to.
It's neither. They're roommates and tenants.
Well, you would have to compromise somehow.
Somehow, going inside the courtroom.
You now know that you're supposed to send a letter, right? You've since
Correct.
learned that? Okay. You tell me how a $400 case became a $5,000 case.
Because of the illegal eviction, I read in Chapter 83 that I'm allowed to get 3 times the month's rent for the illegal eviction. And I was out by the 15th.
What's
And
the illegal eviction?
I was not allowed to come into the house. She wound up locking me out. She changed the locks.
Wait. When did she lock you out?
Probably the 8th of September.
Okay,
She
did
started
you lock her
locking
out on
me
the
out.
8th of September?
I did not.
When did you lock her out? I don't like
I
the way you
didn't lock
answered.
her out. I have a text message, her stating that she vacated, not was evicted. She said, I vacated on this day,
What day?
on September 18th was
Okay,
when she
but my
said
question
that.
to you is, did something happen on the 8th where she couldn't get in or something?
No, she kept calling the cops about 9 times, and the
For
cop
what?
says because she was saying that I was illegally evicting her and then whatnot. So the cop says, you can't throw her out. You don't have an eviction notice. You have to go the proper way. So she had access to the house because the cops either way would not let me.
No, you can't physically throw her out.
Correct,
You have
and
to go
that's
through
exactly
court.
what this
In
is.
other words, if she doesn't leave, see, you're confusing her saying, I want you to leave, with her picking you up by the ankles and the neck and throwing you out. So she has a right to tell you, I want you to leave, because you don't have a lease. And then if you feel like staying and making her go through the court process, it's a very unpleasant way to live. I don't recommend it. But if that's what you feel like doing, then yes, she would have had to go to court. But that doesn't make it an illegal lockout that she didn't file a notice. That's not how this works. Now, there's no triple anything. There's no punitive damages. You have some videos you wanted me to see. What am I going to see in the videos that you wanted me to see?
That's just the state of her room and her trying to make criticisms of me. And before I moved in, that's what her place looked like. And I saw how her daughter's room was, and her room was, the sheets were all over. The bed was never even covered up.
Daughter, come on up. How old are you, honey?
12 years old.
How old?
12.
Aren't you really glad this is over?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, sit down, baby.
Thank you.
All right, folks, you don't get a right to keep a security deposit for the things that you were showing me there. unless you can prove that this is a new mattress and she damaged it, you don't get a right to do it. And what you showed me was like dust and dirt, which is like really nothing. And even if you had written the letter, you couldn't do it because what I'm seeing doesn't justify it. But then on top of that, you didn't write the letter, so you have zero right to do it because you have an obligation as a landlord in the state of Florida to write the letter within the 30 days, okay? Where you're coming up with triple cost of rent and all these other things are just made up out of... they're just, no. So I'm going to order you to return the $400 security deposit. Plus, I'm also going to order you to pay prejudgment statutory interest since the time in September when you should have paid the $400. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Well, the plaintiff is going to get some money back, not nearly the $5,000 she was seeking. Ms. Fernandez, you should have written that letter, you know?
I should have, but, you know, we have to follow the laws now, and now I know.
And you didn't follow the law. So
That is right.
You've learned something. Are things better now with her not there?
Absolutely.
What's the big difference?
There's no mess in the house. It's always clean. And when I get home, there's not socks thrown everywhere, and my puppy is not getting sick. So it's all good.
So life is better.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you very much. You must sign a
you.
few documents on your way out. All right, Monica. You got what you wanted, partially.
Partially.
$400, not $5,000.
Right, right.
You okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
All right.
At least I don't have to live where there's ants and roaches crawling all over the place, and I'm accused of it.
How could you have stayed there with that as long as you did?
It was difficult, but I had the hopes of being able to continue my business while I was on my off time from my work.
What were you teaching? Art classes?
I was teaching some paint pouring.
Yeah.
And I was
Paint
also
pouring?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a new technique for creating paint for those of us who can't paint with a brush.
Okay, all right, very good. Well, thank you very much. You must sign a few documents on your way out of the courtroom, and that's it. Harvey?
You know, Doug, what this gentleman said about compromising, you sit down and you say, look, if we can't compromise, let's negotiate an exit that works for both of us.